Today I'm going to be making a Tres Leches Cake from allrecipes.com by Stephanie. Let's get started. And to start my recipe, I'm setting my oven to 350. So as that's preheating, I put my half a cup of unsalted butter into my mixer. And I want this to fluff up first. And as you see, I'm using my paddle attachment so that you can have more air in it. You use the paddle attachment. Get you a side view so you can see that. I fluff it up by itself on 6, just for a little bit. So you need to make sure this butter is at room temperature, along with the 5 eggs. They both need to be at room temperature. So as this butter is fluffing up, I'm gonna gradually add in 1 cup of granulated white sugar. As this is fluffing up, I'm gonna prepare my dry ingredients. Is a cup and a half of all-purpose flour or cake flour like I'm gonna be using. You use the 1 cup and a half plus the additional 3 tablespoons whenever you use cake flour. And I have my 5 room temperature eggs and my half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. That's gonna go in as soon as this is done fluffing up. So again, my dry ingredients is 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour or cake flour like I'm gonna be using. 1.5 cups plus 3 tablespoons. And then 3 tablespoons of baking powder is gonna be sifted twice. So I'm gonna prepare that as this fluffs up. So I'm going to put this on stir so it doesn't settle down. That way I can quickly sift this and then add it in bit by bit to keep this air inside the eggs and to keep it nice and fluffed, as you'll see. So while this is beating for those 2 minutes, I'm going to prepare my pan. I'm going to spray it with a vegetable oil spray and a nice even coat. And whatever you use, if you use cake flour, put cake flour sifted. And if you use all-purpose flour, use all-purpose flour sifted as well. This is going to go in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes at 350, or until when a toothpick comes out nice and clean. All right, here we go. All right. So in here, I'm using the whisk attachment so I can beat my heavy whipping cream, which you do shake before you put it in. I'm gonna put 1.5 cups of the heavy whipping cream along with a cup of sugar, and that's gonna get nice and thick. I'm gonna put that on medium speed. So while that's getting nice and thick, I'm gonna prepare my 3 milks. Sweetened condensed milk, evaporated milk, and whole milk. Now these cans, now make sure you shake the evaporated milk. These 2 cans I put in the fridge overnight or in the freezer just to get it nice and cold so it can be, so all of this, the 3 milks can get cold and it's ready for me. And my Tres Leches is ready even sooner. So it's 3 ingredients in here. 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream, 1 cup of white granulated sugar, and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So let me add that in before I forget. So I'm using half a teaspoon, so I need to put 2 of these in there. That's just 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Put it back on medium speed until this is nice and thick. Set this aside. And I'm doing all this while my Tres Leches cake is baking. And I'm putting 2 cups of the whole milk in here along with these cans of sweetened condensed milk and evaporated milk. So putting this back on 6. Looks like I just needed another minute or so. It's as good as I'd want it to be. All right. And all of this is going to go in here to get nice and cold. It's nice and thick, staying on the spatula. That's how you want it. Cover this so it can wait for me. And then we can check the Tres Leches. Has about 5 minutes left. Here's the Tres Leches with about 5 minutes left. See, it's pretty golden. And it rose up a little bit. So let me get my toothpick. See if it needs that extra time or not. Still gonna give it about those 2 minutes. Here goes the Tres Leches cake. See, nice light and golden brown. And I put it in there for 27 minutes at 350, and it's coming out pretty clean. So it depends on your oven how long you need. It shouldn't need more than that 30 minutes. It's still going to cook a little bit as it's cooling. So right now I'm going to cover it and I'm going to leave it cooling for 5 to 10 minutes. You can leave it cooling until it's completely cool before you do the next step. But I do it for 5 or 10 minutes and then I put it in the freezer because I need this right away. Otherwise, normally I wait till it's completely cooled. So there you go, and then I'll show you the next step once this is cooled down. Now, here we go. I have my milk, my 3 milks in the fridge waiting for me, and my Cool Whip topping that's going to go on top. Here goes my Tres Leches Cake. Here goes the breading for it. And I'm going to poke holes in the whole cake all the way through. And this is going to allow the 3 milks to go inside all the way through it. This is why I want to make sure it's nice and fluffy and light. Now you can wipe this part off if you want to. I don't think it makes a difference at all. So it's just poking a hole all the way through, but not through the pan. We don't want that milk to spill out. And that's usually good for some people. I just do extra holes in there, as many as I can. Make sure all that milk gets in there. All right. That should be good. And then I add more holes. All right. Now that should be good. Put that aside. And I'm going to get my 3 milks ready. Like I said, you do another stir. Before you put it in. And you can put in half of it to save some for later. So you can put some in each slice if you'd like. Or you just pour it all the way in. Like to do it in the, now you want to make sure you cover it completely with the milk. Get it nice and wet. And so you can save some if you want to for each slice. But I'm going to pour mine all the way in. And all of this liquid is going to get absorbed by the bread. Okay. And you have to wait until it gets absorbed inside of it before you put that Cool Whip topping on top. Normally you put this in the fridge and you wait overnight or a few hours. I'll put it back in the freezer to get it nice and cold. But as long as I help it along, it'll get in there. Because like I said, I need this cake right away. I need it ready today, so being a little impatient. And you see? All of it got absorbed. And now it is ready to put my Cool Whip topping on. And I put the whole thing on there, or however much you want. And now, since that part is done, I'm going to top it with slices of strawberries. And I already washed these and sliced them. You can put strawberries, blueberries, pineapple, it's up to you. Normally I just put strawberries, but I want extra color, so I'm going ahead and putting blueberries in there to give it a nice pop. And then goes the Tres Leches Cake. I want to leave this cold overnight, or at least 2 to 4 hours until it's completely cold. And you keep it refrigerated.